Hi there! In these random reviews I let fate decide what I should review, but sometimes RNG assigns me a game I can't make a whole video about, but since I've got to respect the RNG, here are 5 random reviews in one. First up,
SoulCalibur VI.
The game started with a very confusing intro.
Transcending history and the world, a tale of souls and swords eternally retold. Soul Edge, a legendary possessed by the evil weapons of Cervantes, adapted to stages of history, playing to light. Our story takes place in the 16th century.
I then began the story mode, which also started with a confusing intro. A quick summary.
Chaos and chaos, chaos.
I then created a random character. Okay. Then the story mode continued with some boring text, then a fight, then more boring text, then a fight, then some boring text. And I quickly got bored. Story was just not my genre, I guess. And fighting games also aren't really my thing. I can enjoy a few fights, but I'm not someone that plays online or knows anything about the depth of these games. But this game had one big draw for me. You can play as Geralt of Rivia.
Ever fight a Witcher? Guess not.
And I loved Geralt in The Witcher 3. I love the way he fights. I love the way he rides his horse. And I love the way he talks. So I did some fights with Geralt. And then I stopped playing. One more thing about this game. Why can you see the blood type of these characters? Why would you need to know the blood type? Why would someone need to know that Taki's blood type is A? I don't understand. I don't even know my own blood type. Is that something I should know?
Welcome to Windbound, a review of Windbound.
Windbound is a survival game. A very beautiful looking survival game. By sailing from island to island, you have to collect resources which you can use to upgrade your ship or craft items, with the end goal of getting 3 Nautilus keys, which you can find on these towers. These keys are used to get to the next chapter, where the gameplay loop starts again. Unfortunately, the gameplay fell flat on its face for me. The crafting never felt rewarding, the inventory is very small, which forces you to leave your stuff behind, stuff that you will need later, which frustrated the hell out of me, and the combat is very basic. It works if you're fighting one enemy, but when you're fighting multiple targets, it's horrible. And even on the most lenient game mode, you lose a lot of progress when you die. Is everything about this game bad? Definitely not. I really like the sailing from island to island, which is a significant part of the game. It's calming and the soundtrack perfectly fits. Plus the game had some memorable moments for me, where the soundtrack really pops off. But still. Sengoku is crazy. In the first 3 minutes, first you fight ninjas on Earth, and you teleport to heaven where you fight these guys and the big skull. After defeating the skull, some guy goes, "I appreciate that." Then back to Earth where there's a billboard of a bikini babe drinking wild soda. More fights on Earth and then back to Samurai Heaven where I died. all in just 3 minutes. Originally, this beat-em-up arcade game came out in 1991, which also explains why it is really hard, as arcade games were made very difficult, so you would put a lot of coins in a short amount of time. Luckily, in this version you can give yourself 99 lives, which was just enough for me to beat the game in about 50 minutes. I was terrible at this game, but it was fun. My favorite enemy was this turtle creature, which reminded me of Dongo Dongo, from this cursed childhood show I used to watch. In Soulstice you play as sisters, Briar and Lute, and it's another story about
chaos, 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 chaos.
a story genre that just doesn't interest me personally. And even though I did like the character designs, I didn't think they were interesting enough. When it comes to gameplay, it's a hack and slash game and the combat has a lot of mechanics, but I couldn't help to find it boring. It's not a bad game, it just has nothing for me.
I feel something. Something's coming. What is that?
Severed Steel is a first-person shooter action game with one genius mechanic. When you're doing tricks, you can't take any damage. So if you're sliding, jumping, wall running or diving, you can't get hit. This forces you to dive headfirst into gun battles, and with the ability to slow down time, it truly makes you feel like a badass. It's a relatively short game, taking about 3 hours, but all those 3 hours were a blast.
Chaos and chaos. Chaos.
Chaos, 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 chaos.
We're here to kill chaos.